Hi everyone. So this is out of Yahoo, out of US Yahoo by Mariel Padilla, and it's out of the independent paper. And so some of us already knew this was something that could happen. We suspected that, there's some good police officers, and like any job or profession, there's good people that you run into, and then there's people who you have to have that question mark about who they really are under their uniform or when they're not at work, and who are they really behind closed doors. And so Klux Klan application was found in a U.S. police officer's home, which is pretty scary, knowing that we've had a lot of police shootings, and so there's a lot of ads running. So it's probably more than likely unrelated to the article, but it's going on to say that a police officer in Michigan was terminated on Thursday after a prospective home buyer who had been touring the officer's house posted a picture on social media of a framed Ku Klux Klan application that he had seen there, spurring an internal investigation. So now the question is, outside of this article, what was this officer like? How did he treat people of different backgrounds? What was his track record? How long was he working as an officer in Michigan? So Frank Peterson, the city manager of Muskegon, confirmed Friday that the officer, Charles Anderson is his name, had been terminated, but said a report on the inquiry conducted by the Muskegon Police Department, and then correct me if I'm wrong if I said that name of the police department wrong, but it looks like it's pronounced Muskegon, would not be released until next week. So the city announced that August the 8th that Anderson, who is white and had been with the department for more than 2 decades. So again, going back to where I was asking those real hard-pressed questions as to how he was during his tenure of being an officer for 2 whole decades. What was he like towards people in neighborhoods that were from different backgrounds, nationalities, genders, on the whole gamut? So it goes on to say that he had been placed on administrative leave after they had found this in his possession of a certain item associated with the white supremacist group. So that announcement came one day after Rob Mathis, the prospective homebuyer, posted it on Facebook. Wow, he didn't suspect that this would happen, of course, after 2 decades of being an officer in Michigan. So the photo was posted on Facebook of the application, which is blank. Although the details of the investigation have not been released, Jeffrey Lewis, chief of the police department of Muskegon's director of the public safety, told that the city commissioner on August 27th, what you saw on social media is pretty much the way it is. And so nothing was revealed to us that shocked us, Lewis said of the investigation. So Muskegon Police Department, Anderson, and the Police Officers Association in Michigan did not immediately respond to calls and emails seeking comment on Friday. So Anderson's wife, Rachel Anderson, told Wood TV, a local television station, that her husband was not a Klan member and he can't say anything right now. Rachel Anderson said, so I wish we could, because of it would probably set a lot of things straight. So M Live, a media company based in Grand Rapids, Michigan, reported that the police department's policy manual does not specify or specifically ban private displays of prejudice, but says that the officer should perform all duties impartially, without favor of affection or ill will, and without regard to status, sex, religion, political belief, and aspiration. And so this is what was posted. It was a Ku Klux Klan application. And so something like this being in the house of a police officer is somewhat disturbing if there's no clarification as to why this is there. Um, it looks like it's being held as something that they are a part of, or some type of memorabilia that maybe someone in your family was a part of, and by having it in a frame shows that you have some type of significance to it, where maybe somebody related to you was a part of it, or you yourself might have been a part of it, or you're kind of involved in activities that are in relation to it. And so it brings up those types of questions in a person's mind when you see something like this. Usually, what do? You frame things that you want people to see, that you hold like memorabilia or something close to you, like family photos, special events, maybe special achievements from college, university, or schools that you've attended, awards that you've received. So to have something like this framed in your house would raise a lot of questions, being it shows that he's supposed to be a man of law to protect and serve. People that happen to be of color are not looked highly at when people are part of this particular group. So Mathis, 52, an Army veteran who is black, said that the picture he had posted on Facebook of the KKK application had drawn hundreds of messages, some supporting what he had done and others condemning or threatening him. So he also said that the police had warned him about a death threat. And so referring to Anderson, Mathis said, "It's unfortunate that he's in our community because he might have put people in jail or on false charges." Exactly, that's what I was thinking, especially people of color, minorities, black folks, of course. Because he was a police officer, it was my moral obligation to say something about it. So he said that he and his wife's brother and son had toured the officer's house in early August with a real estate agent. And so the first thing I noticed walking through the dining room was the Confederate flag. That's a strong indicator that something is going on with that person's mindset. And then the mat on the table, Mathis said. And then the family walked through the house, and he said his wife noticed the police officer's coat, and he saw the two Confederate flags in the garage. And when he went upstairs, he saw the framed KKK application hanging on the wall. He said his wife was upset, and he told her, "We're getting out of here." Okay. Because they knew something was going on, of course, with the mindset of these individuals. So the real estate agent was very apologetic, he added, and after that, he had posted the picture of the application, and the messages poured in as they saw it on Facebook. And he said he was trying to explain all of this to his 12-year-old daughter. And so it's a bad apple, not all law enforcement, Mathis said, but I wanted to shield her from this. And so Mathis said that he reached out to Anderson and Lewis, but never heard from them. So I walked into the most racist home I had ever been in my life, Mathis said, which I'm thinking that he might have seen some other things, and so they're leaving it out of the article for him to say it was the most racist home, because just that on the wall and then the two Confederate flags, I believe there might have been more things in that home that he might have discovered, but he left that out because it was probably very painful. So I'm adding that in there. So I was disgusted even being in that house, of course. So 10 years ago, Anderson shot and killed Julius Johnson, an unarmed black man, during a foot chase. So the authorities said that Johnson had repeatedly hit the officer in the head with a blunt object. The county prosecutor at the time determined that Anderson had shot in self-defense and cleared him of any wrongdoing. D.J. Hilson, Muskegon's current county prosecutor, told Muskegon's Chronicle that he might reevaluate the 2009 shooting depending on the results of the police department's internal investigation. So Ebony Davis, a social justice advocate working with the Mathis family to push for law enforcement transparency, said, "We want to bridge the gap between the community and the police because the next generation has to live in this community, a community that is pretty diverse." And so that was out of the New York Times. So that is really disturbing because I remember or recall when I was at a laundromat and a friend of mine or some associate, I would say, was saying, "Oh, it's just a handful of bad apples." Well, we don't know how many bad apples there are on the law enforcement. And that is the problem. And with all the shootings and now this doesn't make people feel at ease in one bit or every sense of the word at all. And so seeing this only reaffirms some of the things. This is the officer pictured here. It just reaffirms all of the fears, the frustrations, the doubts that people have on some law enforcement officers. You never know on any given day when you're going to run into a decent law enforcement officer, a person of the law, or you're going to run into someone like this who happened to have this Ku Klux Klan application found in his police officer's home while he was apparently, I guess he was trying to sell his home to someone, and they saw all of the memorabilia that was racist in his home. And he had served 2 decades on the police enforcement in active duty, and there was an incident where a guy was killed that happened to be African American, and so now they want to reopen the 2009 case to see if it was validated that this man deserved to be killed at all. Nobody deserves to be killed, but from the argument that this officer gave, he wanted to make it seem as though he had a reason to shoot this guy. And so that's the disturbing part of this whole thing. So having said that, I'm going to let this video go, but this is the scary part. This is what reality most people are living in, is worried that you never know if you're going to run into the good cop or the bad cop. It's unpredictable. Thanks for listening.